Hey everyone, my name is Melvin Kuisani with MMORPG.com, and today is a pretty special day. We're actually going to be able to dip back a bit and reminisce about a game many of you are familiar with in the MMO world, City of Heroes Freedom. Launched back in '04, I'm pretty excited to be able to check out its progression and see how it stands out 7 years later. So stay tuned and I'll let you know right here, right now, on MMORPG.com. First things first. Aesthetics. So how does it look and how does it sound? Well, the game is centered based upon whether you choose to be a villain or hero, and Paragon City is the core of the game. I think it's pretty much unanimous that a superhero-based MMO is interesting, but when comparing the aesthetics of the game 7 years later, City of Heroes simply falls short of expectations. Characters in the environment can be very colorful, bright, and unique, but the game really does lack detail and seems extremely dated. The sounds are better, but sometimes it's so cliche that I still revert back to my iTunes playlist. So aesthetics become a 6 because players will still be exposed to unique environments, and that's always a plus. So now moving on to probably the most important part, gameplay. Being a superhero or villain is pretty cool, but where does it stack up when actually playing? The game is filled with lots of nooks and crannies, clues, and quests, although I'm not going to say I wasn't grinding as much, if not more, than I have been with just about other MMOs. It's great to be able to have such a diverse character with hundreds of options to be unique within a community of other players, but I wish there was a better balance. PvP really isn't all that great, and I never had an urge to go and duke it out with another player, even though that's kind of what I was expecting to get by playing. So at that point, gameplay gets another 6 because there's literally so much depth and diversity hidden in the game that I feel it's simply not being utilized properly. Alright, it's time for innovation. I think this is where City of Heroes is the strongest because it really is unique in its own nature. No other game feels anything like it, and that becomes pretty respectable. The approach to take a superhero-based game really was a refreshing step away from everything else. Nonetheless, innovation is an 8 because you won't be finding many swords and axes in the game. Only problem is that I kinda sorta miss my sword at this point. Alright, time to dust off the intake and see everything in its real state. Time for the polish of the game. Remember what I said about much being underutilized? This still holds true and the game suffers for it at times. I still feel there's room for improvement to provide for a smoother experience. So, polish goes at a 7 because after all the updates that have been made, everything meshes, for the most part, properly through its own environment. Free to play, but how long will you actually play? Unfortunately, given the quality of the gameplay combined with the overall polish of everything, I don't feel the masses will be swarming anytime soon to play hours on end. Fortunately, there are still many different abilities and ways to customize your character that I still feel will keep you going for a bit, so I feel in that respect I'm going to be giving longevity a solid 6. As with any MMO, the social environment of the game is crucial for its success. Despite there not being millions flooding the servers in City of Heroes, those who still play are those who truly appreciate the uniqueness of the game and all the thought and effort that has been put into it. Unfortunately, however, I still feel that a larger and more active population is needed to retain the open environment of City of Heroes, so the social aspect of the game produces a 7. Now, City of Heroes just recently went free to play. However, just like most free-to-play games nowadays, there are still exceptions such as VIP subscriptions, a loyalty reward system, and more. All this just adds on if you really get into the game, but if you're not, you'll still have fun as a free-to-play player. Consequently, the value of the game is set out to be an 8 because it's not completely free, and remember, time is money too. In the end, City of Heroes was and has always been unique. It's definitely a game everyone should check out and experience the different approaches taken to MMOs. After tallying everything up, City of Heroes Freedom barely falls below an overall score of 7 with a score of 6.9. It is still commendable that such a unique game has performed so well, and I can only hope that things get even better. So, that's all for me today, folks. For more info, news, and reviews, be sure to check out MMORPG.com. I'm Melvin Kuistani, signing off until next time. Take care.